All right, today we're gonna learn how to paint this painting of iced tea.
All right, the question of the day is, who is Tracy Merrow? All right, we're on our way to the Office Depot and we're gonna change this thumb drive into photos. So we'll get those photos printed and see where it goes from there. All right guys, we're at the favorite place, Blick, and we got some stuff. I'm getting this canvas right here, my studio version, 24 by 36. And I got one piece of poster board. Normally I go to like Office Max, I think, because they got better prices. Because for stencil work, you really don't need high quality, but I'm at Blick, so just take the easy route. And I'll see you on the next stage of the painting.
All right, we just got back. Let's check out that paper.
So we got our Office Max. Let's go check it out. So we got the original iced teas, kind of a check. We have army paper. We have the Woody's paper, which is kind of a famous chicken and Woody's, the barbecue place. We got cassette player music. We have New Jack City and Chappelle. We got Earl's Hot Dogs and LA. Gotta have the Bloods and Crips. Colors. We got some sports team, LA and LA Raiders, back in the day. We got New York for CSI. Sorry, it's supposed to be Law and Order. We got the Social Security paper, because he used to get checks from Social Security. LA Raiders again. We got my video game, UFC, Grand Theft Auto, and The World Is Yours, Scarface. We got donut paper, Krispy Kremes, and Randy's. What else we got here? Got Nestea and ice for iced tea. Let's see. We got MTV and BET. So where MTV Raps kind of came out. Let's see. We got wrap paper with Eminem, Run DMC, Beastie Boys, Tupac, B.I.G., Notorious, Boogie Down Productions, NWA, Wu-Tang. I think that's it. And let's see if we got any more different paper. That might be it. Alright. That's our paper. And for the stencil, we got iced tea. So this is gonna be a monster, this will be a monster iced tea. So this will be our stencil we're gonna use later. All right, the next stage is to
take this and cut all the way through it on this super thick ass paper. finished. This is what it looks like so far. So kind of hard to see from a distance, but Hopefully you guys can see it looks like iced tea. I think it looks like iced tea. All right, the next stage is to open the canvas. All right.
So I've been thinking about why I got into kind of gangster rap. I think it was the time I grew up in, right when gangster rap kind of took off, as well as, you know, in high school, I had a really close black friend of mine one summer. He got me really into R&B music. And then later we kind of had a falling out. He kind of joined a gang that all these gangs moved to Chicago outdoors, but they really kind of play gangs. But then they started doing real gangster stuff. And he actually beat this kid within an inch of his life, like basically put him in a coma a few weeks with a baseball bat at McDonald's. And at that point I was like, yeah, the friendship's over. But unfortunately it got worse and worse. You know, 6 months later, his stepdad got out of prison or something, and his friend was over, and there was this party house that we used to hang around, and this girl, she had moved out of the city also because of the violence, but she sold cocaine on the side. I didn't sell. But anyway, there was nefarious stuff going on, and yeah, if you bring a little girl into a world and you're selling coke to disreputable people on coke just don't make good decisions. And yeah, one thing led to another, and they decided, hey, we can rape this girl. And then they raped the girl, and they're like, oh my god, what are we gonna do? She's gonna tell someone. And then they killed the girl. So, you know, they killed this 13-year-old girl. So it really soured my taste on R&B music. And at the same time, that was kind of when gangster rap kind of started to come out, and I really identified with the raw, you know, disillusionment with society in general, which, you know, a lot of the gangster rap talks about, especially Ice-T. So, you know, a lot of his lyrics really hit home for me as far as with that resonance of, you know, I had been moved around, he had moved around, and just like a lack of connection with friends, a lack of connection with family, and, you know, a broken home more or less due to, you know, my mom erratically moving us around. And then living in this neighborhood with single mothers and, you know, single mother kids, and all of us grew up in broken homes basically. And yeah, it was just, you know, kind of a crazy time to grow up as a teenager. But yeah, his lyrics kind of cut through the bullshit of, you know, the R&B music, and cut through the bullshit of, yeah, just all the crap they were selling you on TV that, you know, we're gonna go after parental lyrics on rap music, but who cares about people getting AIDS, you know? Like, it's a complete wrong focus. But yeah, that's my 2 cents why I, you know, Ice-T's music really resonated with me.
All right, let's run through the colors. Titanium white, Mars black, phthalo blue, ultramarine blue, phthalo green, turquoise, pearly red, burnt sienna, primary yellow, cad yellow. All right, we were supposed to start this. I put up the camera and then I forgot to turn it on. Oh man. Anyway, I glued this all in. I got a little bit of section, so you'll see this little piece going in, and that's about it of this section. And then we'll move on to the next part. All right, we're at the next stage. We're gonna add the stencil on here. We're gonna kind of outline where it goes, and then we'll fill in the major colors after that.
All right, so if you do a similar style, make sure you do a lot of lines around this to line this up, because later somehow it moves, so you definitely want to do that, because once you take it off and you put it back on, it doesn't line up and then you're kind of screwed, especially around the eye sockets. So let's go from there. Hopefully we can see this. It's pretty light color, but. So now we're gonna do kind of a color study and kind of get a feel for what it should look like before we add the color. All right, so I'm gonna paint some color studies. I did that already. It didn't tape. That's the second time I didn't tape in this video. Anyway, so far I'm not sure about what the color should be. I mean, it's gonna be probably this color, the base color, maybe this one. It's kind of in between here. And then obviously use the darker ones in the shadow. Yeah, I'm not totally sold on what should be the background. Let me do another one maybe. You just move this out of the way. I don't know why I haven't moved the tape closer. I'm doing it the hard way here. Alright, so let's try this again. Divide it into different versions. So it's probably like this for the skin tone. Maybe change that a little bit. I think skin tone we're good, so let's just leave that. I don't think we need to restudy that. We're running out of color here. Trying to be cheap and not make it twice. Alright, so we got that. The dark blue jacket, dark red jacket. Kind of goes good. Straight purple maybe. It's kind of a badass color. It's gonna have black on top of it, so I don't know how it's gonna pop. So we got orange. That's probably a goofy color. There's like turquoise here. Kind of like this color. Maybe it's a background. No, it's almost the same color. We do really dark on here. This is light, so maybe we do darker on this. Here's a pure green. I don't know if that'll work. That is dark here, so this should probably be dark, and then this has got to be dark and then light or something. I can have yellow, that would be totally dumb. This makes sense here. I think that blue makes sense. Should it be the dark green? We'll see. Go to this maybe? Oh. Light around there, halo effect. Don't know. Let's see. Blue. There has to be something to pop here. Like this pops better. If you go around here, we'll see how that looks. This is okay too. Red's nice because it's kind of an angry color, so. But I like kind of this blue, but this is just too much the same, I think. I mean, his face will pop, obviously. So I need the coat to be different than the background. We try the green background. We have kind of a green jacket. So we do halo around here, blue here. The green jacket. Green jacket's kind of leprechaun, right? It looks like Irish with this green. I don't know. I mean, black you can definitely do. I mean, straight black. We won't have any details on the. Maybe I can do a gray. Let's see. Let's see if that works. It definitely is consistent. And then bling. And you got green in the background, maybe. Maybe in here like this. It's a nice color. This is better than the black. Let's see if we just change this. That kind of works. I like the red though. It's kind of a nice color too. So if we go over this, let's do a blue here maybe with black outline maybe. We have the very light yellow around the outside. Let's see if that works. Be kind of psychedelic. Let's try that. This is gonna be weird, but.
don't like that jacket though. I think that blue maybe. Blue, reds, tan. I think this is too powerful. Red is okay as a jacket maybe. The red kind of complements the tan. Blue stands out. Let's do blue because blue is iced tea, so it's cool as ice. Maybe it's a blue in the background with a really chilly look. Let's see if that works. All right, let's take all that off. Go something like this. All right, throw the rest of that away. Which one did you guys like? Tell me a little below in the comments. Maybe I'm making a mass mistake here. We'll see. All right, so I'll put this up here. Take down Mr. Iced Tea. Put that higher up as a reference. So we're thinking like a light blue, light yellow. All right, we're gonna start with yellow around the outside, so let's see how that goes. Look at that jacket falling. Maybe some lines here. Should be lined up. So it goes down to here. So I'm trying to fade that out, but pretty heavy around the outside here. Hope this color isn't too crazy. We don't want to have a neon iced tea, right? But I gotta have color contrast. So got color contrast, you gotta do something, right? So we'll see how it plays out correctly or not. Let's line this up again. Right here. Just take that off like that. Alright, that should be the outline, hopefully. Let's fade that out a little bit. Hopefully it mixes well with the next color. It doesn't always mix quite like how you want in acrylic because it dries fast, so you're just kind of limited there. It's not the end of the world. So we're talking greens. You never know if you mix it too incorrectly too. Like could be like it just doesn't blend well. So we'll see if it's too thick or what. Hopefully not. So I'm just leaving a little touch of the yellow because it's kind of an ugly color in painting. So you don't want to normally too much. There's not typically a lot of yellow in painting. I don't know if it's bad luck or what, but even in a sunset, it's always a brown. It's not really a yellow. So that's kind of an incorrect assumption people don't know about. But if you go to graffiti style, so you can use a lot of yellow. That's no problem. Yellow and purple, like freaking bold as hell. So it just kind of depends on what your style is. So hopefully it's gonna turn out well here. We're gonna see. All right, let's make that a little darker. Next layer, I'm gonna make this kind of even. It's got more color in it, so it's gonna be a little more obscure, but that's okay. You want to kind of fade the background, so that's what we're kind of doing right here. Seems a little too much here. All right, let's see if we can make it again. Hopefully, you never know when you mix; it can be like way up. But sometimes you just have to throw it in there and see what happens, right? So I'm just kind of working that in there, so hopefully these colors are even. Probably not going to be super even, but it's fine. This is our first layer. We can add a little bit thicker layers on the next upcoming layers, I think. Kind of make that pop a lot more. All right, so we got kind of our beginning layer. Let's do a lot thicker layers now. We're gonna pick out the big brush, so let's see how that goes. Very bold here. Just kind of want to lay it in there quick. All right, so that's kind of our beginning layer. We want to get really dark now. Something to behold. Now we're getting to the really dark stuff. Hopefully there's not too much color on this. Might have went too much, we'll see. We got a lot of paint here, so let's steal that.
So let's go almost pure black here. Most people hate this color, super powerful though. But it's cool to use it because no one else uses it, so then you got like a unique color that everyone's afraid of. So we're trying to make it really dark, but at the same time translucent, so you can see this bottom layer. So let's see if this works. It's gonna be really dark, this layer. Just really wanting to make that super pop here. And then hopefully that'll work really well with the skin tones once we put those on, and hopefully I can do the skin tones really right. That's always a challenge with doing portraits. Skin tones are the hardest to get right. So you got kind of that going on. I'm gonna mix a pure black in here. Really make that freaking dark at the edges here. I'm destroying parts of the painting, but that's okay. You wanna gotta have that. I think we can do the jacket as well. Well, let's let this dry and then see where it goes from here. All right, for this stage, I'm gonna do the eyes. So I've kind of taped them over already, so I'll circle them in, and hopefully we get that right and do the whites of the eyes. Let's see if that lines up. It's lining up. It's lined up for now, so we'll see, hopefully. Cross your fingers. You never know these crazy freaking. Okay, we'll come back to that one. I think it's gonna go a little lower than that one. So let's do that. That. It should be just slightly lower than the eyeball, hopefully. Alright, so should we paint the white first? Oh, we'll paint around it. It's kind of interesting. The eyeballs are a little bit different sizes here, but I think it's just the perspective's different, you know? I mean, if you're using a stencil, there's no way to kind of screw up the perspective. But it always makes you doubt yourself. You're like, this one looks way bigger. He has a giant eye on one side, you know? Maybe he's got a lazy eye, I don't know. Alright, see that's part of the pulp of paint, that's no good. Oh, I stupidly did the opposite of what I want to do. I didn't know what I'm doing. Alright, let's take this off. That's good. I think that's supposed to be bigger on one side. I'll just leave it like that. These are pretty small eyes. Kind of beady eyes. But I think it's just because he's squinting, so that's a different eye socket. We'll do probably the jacket first. Let's just tape that in probably. Make it better, really. Took it off too early. See, look, it's like it's not lining up now. It's like, what the fudge? How did that happen, you know? Like, that shit always makes sense. Let me freaking move it. I don't know why, but like, how is that freaking possible? All right, we're gonna assume that's right. I don't know if it is or not, but it just seems. Like this should be a little bigger probably, but it's gonna be black, so hopefully that's fine. Like that. Thinking the dark green would have been really good as a jacket color too, but it'll really make him pop. This will be okay too. Should have like Joker colors, which is kind of funny because he's obviously he never uses drugs or alcohol, so it's kind of like ironic to use Joker colors with iced tea, but you know, sometimes you just do weird stuff in a painting. But you gotta make the colors work, so you know, if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. So that should be like that, and then that's all his skin here. Alright, so I'll just carry this down. And that's good, that kind of lines up. So we'll see once we cut this out. There's a problem here, double layer the tape that I need to pull off a little. This tape's kind of old, it doesn't want to pull off very well. That's going like that, so let's wrap that. Alright, let's do that purple. Do it thicker on the edges. So hopefully that's not overlapped. You won't know until you put the black on really if you screw that layer up. Alright, that's the thick layer. Yikes! Throw paint on the floor, that's not good. It's definitely not dark enough. It's definitely going to be see-through, so that's good. You might want to come back and do some better colors.
Let's pull that off real quick. So we're gonna have to go to the yellow there in the corner probably. So this is good, it's right to the yellow, so that's perfect here. Here I think it's fine, I might add more yellow at the end. So then we should have the tan. Do I wanna let that sit? All right, we're gonna add the skin color now. It's not ideal, but we got heavy gel. I think a medium gel would be better, but hopefully not off in the colors, we'll see. So the interesting thing about Ice-T is when he was growing up, he was light skinned enough to actually pass as white. So you'd see a lot of racism against black people by white people and be like, I'm black too, dude. But he was light enough to pass, so it's just like this weird quandary. That was true in the past too, where people would be light enough to pass, and then it was kind of like called the color line. Nowadays it's a lot better, but obviously if you go to really racist parts, middle of nowhere, you're gonna run into that. But in general, I don't think that really exists too much nowadays, but I don't think the Deep South has come that far, so unfortunately, it is what it is, kind of in certain areas of the country. You can change some things, but you can't change everything, right? I think a lot of that, you kind of saw that too in Obama's administration. He tried, but then it was still, he had run into a lot of racists still, so it's kind of ironic. Alright, so we'll leave that. I think we're gonna have kind of, the neckline is gonna be darker, so I'm gonna leave that kind of, this would be darker here probably too. I think the thicker brush kind of gives it a cool effect. You're like, how the hell do you get a big ass brush on that, right? That's kind of the cool part. It's getting dark in here. Unfortunately, my lighting kind of sucks. You figure you'd have good lighting in Miami, but let's turn this out. Maybe this will help. Hopefully this isn't too dark. I think this is the right color though. It's kind of an orange color, so I don't know. Skin color orange? I don't know. It's kind of like baby diarrhea color, so hopefully this doesn't look too crappy. Hopefully it doesn't look crap. For now I'm leaving the lips neutral, but probably I should go a little bit darker. It's always weird with guys because you want to give them kind of a little bit of red, but not much, because then it looks like you don't know what you're doing. So it has to definitely be darker brown for this. For it to be right. That definitely has to be darker brown. So ideally you just let this dry so you wouldn't have this issue, right? But I don't really want to have those eyes covered too long. Now let's check for the shadows. So we're gonna have a shadow up here. Hopefully this isn't too off. That'll be a darker probably there, really dark. We have a little bit of shadow here. So that's good. This is kind of half shadowed, so let's kind of tone that down. All this is kind of half shadowed, but we got the nose here is going to be dark shadowed a little bit. It's hard to guess. I'm just kind of guessing here, guys. Let's see if I can see this. So you get the lips are here. That'll be kind of a red color. So this should, right under here should be dark. This is going to be dark as well. This is going to be dark right here. And we need a really dark here, so just use this. Hopefully this isn't too off. And the lips is going to be here, so hopefully this isn't too off again. It's like we're shooting in the dark a little bit. I'm going to have to redo that. I'm going to have the edge of the hair probably going to be darker here like that. It's going to be really dark here, so it's going to be covered anyway, but let's see how off this is on the nose. Might be way off on the nose, but we'll see. We'll have to really play with that. Dark spot here. It's going to be dark here too, but this is already covered, so probably overkill there. I'm just kind of highlighting the ends here. That makes sense once you get to the end of the... So I'm going to pull those eyes up. I don't want them to dry too much there, because it won't pull up the eyes correctly. Then we'll just paint those white by hand. Hopefully we're right on the eyes. It's always hard to tell when you do this if you're right or not, if we're really off or what. So maybe a little darker here. Alright, and this is a little dark. This will be a little dark here too as well. So I probably have to redefine the chin, I think, because we'll see how that plays out, if that plays out right or not. I'm using brown for the lips. It probably should be a little red rose, but I don't know how you use rose on a guy. It's kind of like, like one of those things you don't know if it looks right or what. I'm just kind of showing that part of the temple, and we'll see if that's right or not. So the nose part is over here, actually. Way off on the nose here. So hopefully that's fixed. The lips is way off here, it's down here. So this is probably gonna be fucked up, but we'll see. Pull that in a little bit. So hopefully we'll see how that dries. It's gonna be some stuff to fix for sure. We can do the yellow again. Let's do white next. Not gonna really tone it down because I think it just makes sense to make the eyes pop. That's that. Let's do the yellow a little bit. Let's twist this a little bit. Alright. So I think we get that in the crevices. There's a little more up here. Alright, let's see how that dries, and we'll do the next layer tomorrow. All right, we're at the stage where we do the stencil. I know I'm gonna have to have some cleanup here. I think the mouth is too high there, so we're gonna repaint part of that. So we're probably gonna lose some of these nice details behind here, but it is what it is. And so we'll put the stencil down. Hopefully it all lines up correctly, so we won't have any major issues, and hopefully it doesn't go all over the place. Last time it was a disaster, so we'll see how it goes. So I think last time one of the reasons it was off is because I adjusted to the eyes, and really you got to adjust to where it really landed. That's where most of the stencil's correct. So the stencil's incorrect a little bit in some places, but hopefully the black will fix that. All right, here goes nothing. All right, let's see if this works. Okay, let's see what the damage is. Let's see if this went right. Pretty close. Eyes could definitely be better. So let's do the hair real quick. This is all supposed to be one, not divided here. So I definitely have to do the yellow on the top there. It's the beard was here. So that's that. We probably should have a jawline in there, but maybe we'll just leave it like that. Okay, that's good. I like how it has that accent right on that. It really helps define the ear a little bit. And this corner here. We'll just leave that like that. Yeah, it's interesting. He doesn't really have a chin line. It's kind of like a fat neck a little bit. Who knew he had a second chin, right? Because I'm seeing mine. It seems I know I definitely have a little bit of that same issue. When you get to your 40s, life is not kind to your face. So that's pretty correct. He has a lot of shading here, which is correct. Hair's pretty good. It's hard to say on the hair because I'm missing a piece. Somehow I lost a piece, but whatever. So let's do the sides there. You want kind of that highlights in this corners, like the ear, or the ear finishes, you know, where it kind of comes to this point. You want that really sharp. So I'll probably highlight here, but there's some mess here. There's no mess in the eyes, which is pretty impressive. I definitely have to repaint parts of it, but it's supposed to look like this. I think that's okay. It's not the end of the world. I think we need a line here too. Kind of brings that together better. Pull the collar up higher. I think this is correct. Hard to say from the way that looks from the photo, but let's see if there's any issues in the eyes, which is your most crucial errors. But I don't think we have any ears and eyes. They're off. They should be lower, but whatever. We'll have to paint that again. This is pretty clean, actually. There's hardly any ears, so it's tolerable. It's always a nightmare. It starts drying faster than you want it. Maybe I'll paint over this part. I think I'll have to. This shadow is too low. I think it's basically correct. Could add a little bit more here. Look how thick that paint is. It's really clean though, actually. It's not, there's hardly any ears. The eyes are off, but it happened last time too. Probably exaggerated, but I mean, it's pretty close to his ear. I probably need some accents to clean it up a little bit, but let's just take the hair out longer. Give Ice-T some of his hair back. I'm growing it in, Ice-T. Hair Club for Men, brought to you by Sean. It's the Hair Club for Men treatment here, brother. This is the white barbershop, homeboy. Let's check this out. Yeah, he has a pretty good receding hairline. I think mine's pretty good too, see? I think that's why he shaved his hair off. It just wasn't growing all the right, which is, it's pretty normal once you get to a certain age, so. This is kind of a mess, but I'll just leave it. I don't know how to fix that. So I think we're good. We'll let this dry, see where it goes from here. So far pretty good. I'll just add a little bit of highlight here to make that ear kind of pop. Highlights here to make that pop. Highlights in the corner here. I think this should probably be brought, I mean, it looks like his neck goes there, but I don't know, it just seems really weird that his neck would be there. It just seems really kind of blocky, you know? It's, normally you'd have kind of a normal neck, but probably has a little bit of weight like I do in the neck. You get older, that happens, so. On to the next stage. I think at this stage what I'll do, I'll paint the sides black while I'm waiting. Yeah, the black looks super badass for trim, I think. Some people just leave it white because they're gonna frame it, but I like the black because it gives the collector an option just put on the wall as is, you know, and it looks pretty good straight out of the gate. You know, 20 years from now it'll be framed for sure. That's just how it goes. Because once it's out of your hands, and then all the gallerists are like, it needs a frame to sell it. On to the next layer. All right, I forgot one stage, which is to add this sticker. Gotta add that, right? I mean, that's kind of like how his whole brand was formed. All right, the painting's kind of dry. It's not dry, but I think it's dry enough skin there so I can paint around it. I'm gonna have to do the black on top probably if I go over, but if I carefully paint, I can kind of do the highlights and get really close to being finished. That looks right. Pretty fucking good, dude. Now we're gonna do some hairline for men here. Give Ice-T a little bit more hair. A little thicker. It just seems like it's supposed to be thicker. I'll leave it like that. It's very trim. I guess I'm copying my goatee versus Ice-T's goatee. So Tracy Merrill is AKA Ice-T, a very famous rapper. He got his start in New Jersey area when he was a kid. Then he moved out to LA to live with his aunt after his parents died, and later he kind of got associated in a high school where they had kind of Bloods and Crips kind of controlling the high school, but he didn't officially join a gang. Later he kind of became a DJ and then a rapper. He was obviously known, you know, with Ryan Pace, one of his first albums, Power, and then OG Gangster, and all these great albums. Later he went in '91 to start a band called Body Count, and that was because his roommate in high school was into heavy metal music, so he got heavily influenced by some of those bands and formed Body Count, and they did maybe 6 albums with that. But he didn't rest on his laurels there. He actually went on to star in movies like New Jack City, Breaking 2, Breaking. So a lot of those kind of hip-hop style movies. And later he got invited to do a Law and Order episode. And he was supposed to have a character that lasted maybe 2-3 episodes. And they liked him so much on Law and Order that they went ahead and just kept him on as a regular character. And now he's like, I don't know how many seasons, 8 seasons, 9 seasons. I mean, that series has gone on forever. And so he has a very, very long-winded career. Rapper, heavy metal band, which is unusual to have 2 styles of bands at all. Movie star, TV star. So I mean, he's done it all basically, and that's who Ice-T is.
All right, we just finished the painting of Ice-T. Let's take a closer look.
So we got this really nice dark edge here, which you can still see all the imagery. The Hawaiian signs didn't come out too well. Not just Hawaiian; those are one of the restaurants didn't come out as good, which was the chicken place. It's hard to see. You got the Dave Chappelle that came out through UFC, the Grand Theft Auto stuff. Crips and Blood you can barely make. I probably should have used a bigger size paper, I think. It's just a little bit too small. You got the CSI New York, which should be Law and Order, but CSI is a kind of a better, smaller brand, but sorry about that, Ice-T. And I think I did his forehead pretty good. The outline on the face has turned out really well. I corrected the eyes. I think that works really well. I think for next time I'll just do the eyes after the outline. It never seems to line up for some reason. I don't know why. Over here we have like Social Security paper, Krispy Kreme, which is native to California, Randy's Donuts, which is typical in LA. You got the Army symbols. You got some wrap paper there. Definitely got to add the parental advisory. I think it was one of the best brand names for Ice-T when they kind of, in the 90s, it was very typical that like Tipper Gore, I think was the wife of Al Gore, they went against all the rappers right when gangster rap came out, because it went from kind of the Sugar Hill Gang, like really playful, kind of fun hip hop feel, and then it went to hardcore rap, especially with Ice-T, then later NWA, Dr. Dre, and that kind of was just like, what is this? And Ice Cube, of course. And just like way off the deep end of where music had ever been, I think. At least that kind of made it into the popular mainstream. There's probably been music forms like that before, but this was the first time kind of a really crude, vulgar language, talking about the streets and the real reality of the world that kind of existed. And I really identified it with. So I think it turned out pretty well. Hopefully you guys like it. Give me a thumbs up. If you like to subscribe, you can subscribe below. And I'll see you in the next painting review. Painting. It's not a painting review.